This is going to be a collection of videos using PALS and RALS methods from functional range conditioning in multiple shoulder exercises. We're going to start first in shoulder flexion using a dowel and holding on to a physio ball. We're going to crouch down, squeeze the ball, and passively hold. You're going to bring your arm up as high as it'll go without your scapula jacking up into your ear. We're going to hold this position passively for a minute and 25 seconds. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 8. Continue until 125. We're going to begin pushing the dowel into the ground. 5% effort, 10% effort, all the way to 20% effort, 30% effort. Whole body begins to irradiate or contract. You're recruiting muscles from the entire body. 40% to 50%, 50% to 60%, 60% to 70%. Keep pushing. Go 70 to 100% of your safest and greatest effort as hard as you can, squeezing the ball and squeezing the dowel into the ground. Here we go. Push as hard as you can. And RALS. We're going to try to lift further into shoulder flexion without squeezing the dowel or squeezing the dowel as I'm showing you here. Or you can let go of the dowel and just try to go further into shoulder flexion. You're actively going into shoulder flexion. Keep going. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, a little bit higher. 4, 3, 2, and hold here. And passively stretch in this position for another 30 seconds to a minute. Repeat as needed and make sure that you hit the other side. This is the Doorway Americana external rotation pals and rail stretch. Most people do this before they bench press or push press. It's really good for both the external rotation of the joint and also the pectoris major. So you're getting both muscles in the shoulder and in the chest are being stretched here. You're stretching your chest and shoulder, pushing into a wall or a doorway at a 90-degree angle with the elbow. Holding this position for 1 minute and 25 seconds, breathing diaphragmatically. And notice that I have my same-sided leg stepping forward here. I'm going to hold this position for 1 minute and 25 seconds, breathing diaphragmatically. Now we're going to begin by pushing a little bit harder into the pull, 5% to 10%, 10% to 15%, 15% to 20%, 20 to 30%, 30 to 35%, 40%. Keep pushing. We're going to go 100% of your safest and greatest effort for 10 seconds. Push, push, push. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And now we're going to push back the other way into rails. So we're going to go away from the beam or the doorway. Keep the elbow 90 degrees and you're just going the opposite direction. Instead of pushing in, now you're going the opposite way in your end range. Hold it. Keep going. Keep holding it. Keep radiating and squeezing all the tissue as you do this. Here we go. You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and go back to your passive stretch. 30 seconds. Make sure you switch sides. Repeat as many times as you need. This is Pals and Rails Americana external rotation. For pure shoulder glenohumeral external rotation, pals and rals, we're going to hold on to a TRX or a ring strap without any give. Hold the elbow here at a 90-degree angle, and we're going to passively stretch in our end range for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Going to breathe diaphragmatically and just focus on just stretching and relaxing into this stretch. We're going to begin by pushing the ring forward 5% to 10%, using all the tissue to go the opposite direction that is stretched. Keep pushing 30% to 40%, 40 to 50%, slowly amping up to 60 to 70% of your safest, greatest effort. And now from 70 to 100%, we're going to push it as hard as we can for the last 10 seconds. Keep pushing. Here we go, as much as you can. And now we're going to go the opposite direction, further into external rotation. Keep the body engaged. Going to go up to 30 seconds here. Further deepening the external rotation actively. Should feel a little bit of slack in the TRX or ring strap. Keep going, keep going. Keep the intensity high. Keep going deeper into your stretch. 3, 2, and 1, and then go back to your passive stretch for up to 30 seconds. Glenohumeral external rotation, and make sure you get the other side. This is a bilateral attempt at shoulder extension. I'm going to hold shoulder extension passively for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Breathe diaphragmatically. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Focus on your breathing and just try to relax. We're going to begin contracting the stretch tissue by pressing down on the ring from 0% to 100%. Let's go to 5% to 10%, 10 to 15%, 15 to 30%, 30 to 40%, 40 to 50%, 50 to 60%, 60 to 70%. And then we're going to build up from 70 to 100% of your safest and greatest effort. Push as hard as you can. Keep going. Push. 3, 2, 1. Now rails. You're going to try to go further into shoulder extension. Trying to get a little bit of slack in the strap. Going further into shoulder extension for up to 30 seconds. Going the opposite way. Trying to go deep into shoulder extension. Keep forcing that up without pain. Use your muscles here, contract everything, trying to go further into extension. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1, and back to your relaxed passive stretch for up to 30 seconds. For shoulder internal rotation pals and rails, we're gonna scoop our body in like a 7L shape, and we're going to hold on to a lacrosse ball, and we're going to put our shoulder into internal rotation, and make sure you have head support with a yoga block or a foam roller. We're going to hold this passively for 1 minute and 25 seconds. We're going to find our end range and just hold here. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Using the top hand as a barrier, begin to use the bottom hand to contract into the top hand at 5% to 10%, 10 to 20%. Hands are pushing into each other, contracting the tissue that's being stretched, up to 30 to 40%, 40 to 50%, contracting all the muscles in the body to 50 to 60%, 60 to 70%, and we're going to go 70 to 100% of your safest and greatest effort, pushing both hands into each other, trying not to come out of internal rotation, but you're trying to push yourself out. 2 more seconds, and now rails. You can actively try to go deeper into your stretch, deeper into internal rotation without pushing it down, only actively using your own muscles to do that. Keep going, 20 more seconds. Actively trying to go deeper into internal rotation there with a glenohumeral joint. Keep pressing, keep squeezing the lacrosse ball, 10 more seconds. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go back to your passive stretch. Repeat as many times as needed, and make sure you switch sides. For shoulder extension, pals and rails, hold onto a dowel in the lunge position. Make sure that your shoulder is touching the wall and you're opening yourself up. You're going to hold this position passively for 1:25 seconds. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Just focus on your breathing and relax into shoulder extension here. Feel free to climb those fingers up as much as your shoulder will allow it, and keep breathing. Now we're going to begin to contract the tissue that's being stretched. So the front of that shoulder, start pushing the dowel into the ground, 10% to 20%, 20 to 30%, 30 to 40% effort, 40 to 50% effort, 50 to 60%, 60 to 70, and then we're going to go 70 to 100% of your safest and greatest effort, and we're going to try to hold it for 10 seconds. Keep pushing as hard as you can. Keep squeezing. Push, push, push. And now we're going to try to lift off. Not going to pull it up, but you're going to try to let go and try to go further into shoulder extension. So your hand should be going up, but the stick will stay in the same place. You're going to hold this up to 30 seconds, going deeper into your shoulder extension. Try not to flex the wrist here as much as you can. There you go. Not too much longer. Keep squeezing. Going up as much as you can. And relax back into shoulder extension for another 30 seconds. Breathe. And then make sure that you switch sides. Shoulder extension, pals and rows. Here's another way to get external rotation, pals and rails of the shoulder. You're going to get a 90-degree angle while holding onto a dowel and the physio ball. Your elbow's at a 90-degree angle, so you're in external rotation here. The dowel is slightly to the side of the ball, not in front. And so you're in a external rotation passive stretch here. We're going to hold this for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Find your end range, breathe and hold. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Begin to press the dowel into the ground at 5% to 10%, squeezing the physio ball, irradiating the entire body to 10 to 15 to 20%, pushing the dowel into the ground 30 to 40%, 40 to 50%, 50 to 60% of your safest effort, 60 to 70%. We're going to go 70 to 100% of your safest and greatest effort, pushing the dowel into the ground. Keep going. Squeeze it as hard as you can. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. And now we're going to pull back. We're going to slowly try to go further into external rotation. Don't lift the dowel, just circulate the dowel and try to go up as high as you can, furthering external rotation in your end range, irradiating, squeezing the ball, body is tight and engaged, just trying to go further into external rotation, climbing up the pole without pulling it up. Keep going, further your external rotation, and then hold on to the dowel and passively stretch for up to 30 seconds. Repeat as many times as you need and make sure that you switch sides.